She cheated on me during our cruise, and I'm devastated. I'll try to avoid the wall of text stuff because I'm shocked and on mobile. I've been dating this girl Sarah for several months. She is 25 and I am almost 30. I've known her for about 2 years. The relationship has been the image of perfection in my eyes. I've been in many bad, toxic relationships where communication was taboo. Things in my life have been going swimmingly, and due to unforeseen success in my work, I decided to surprise Sarah with a cruise vacation. She was thrilled, got the time off work, and we set sail a few days ago. The cruise ship has a lot of amenities, one of which is a dance club. I've outlived my clubbing days, but Sara is an amazing dancer, loves to have a good time. Last night after dinner, I decided to go to bed pretty early. The food didn't sit well with me. Sara decided to go to the club and see if there was anything going on. I'll add that we had a bottle of wine between us at the dinner. Well, I woke up after about half an hour due to restlessness. I work in the cannabis industry and bought a few edibles on the boat just in case. They were stored in Sara's luggage, and she had the key to her suitcase. She locks it cause of a bad prior incident with hotel staff going through it. I went to the club to ask for the keys and couldn't really find her. I sent her a text, but didn't get a response. I asked the bar staff if they saw her, cause Sara does like to have a drink. They didn't remember her. As I was about to leave, out of the corner of my eye, I finally spotted Sara in the back of the club with a guy making out, his hand up her dress. I almost puked. I didn't even go back to our cabin. I went to the top level of the ship and smoked my first cigarette in 5 years. Chased that with a few shots. I woke up this morning feeling horrible. I still do. My phone has missed text from Sara, and I'm just not responding. There are still 5 days left on the cruise, and I don't know what to do. I don't want to talk to her about it. I know there's going to be a long line of denial, accusations, and fighting. I'm very hurt. I've been cheated on before by a former fiancé. I thought that shallow shit was behind me and was just getting over a lot of relationship issues I harbored. I made sure to never project those insecurities on Sara, though. Last night reminded me of so much pain I've forgotten I had. I need some advice because I'm totally lost. Being 100% honest, I never expected something like this from Sara. Like, ever. She's been nothing but respectful since I've known her. Relevant comments. OP. Another user suggested I try to switch staterooms. That might be my best bet to avoid her while on the cruise. You're right, though. I definitely need to confront the issue and firmly state the relationship is over. I'm already dreading it. I have no idea how I'm going to look her in the eyes and not get sick to my stomach. Comment. To be fair, vomiting on her as soon as you see her might make the conversation easier. Trying to switch rooms isn't a bad idea. Sorry that your cruise was ruined. OP. This is the first time I've smiled since the whole ordeal. Thank you, friend. Comment. Screw her. Own it. You seem like a cool dude. Just tell her the relationship is over. Do it forcefully. I wouldn't even bother switching rooms, to be honest. I'd tell her that she can switch rooms. Go make some friends and laugh about how shitty and absurd the whole situation is. I've dealt with a cheating partner too, man. I know how crappy it can be. But there's nothing to be done other than accept it and have some fun. Update, 1 day after the first post. Since last morning, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of people suggested a direct confrontation with Sara and to also switch staterooms. I agreed with both sentiments but was very confused of the order to take, because I was secretly hoping there would be some combination of words Sara could say that would alleviate all the pain. I hit up guest services. Regardless of what Sara will said, I realized in my mind the relationship was over and I couldn't stay in the room anymore. Guest services were very nice and super understanding. I didn't tell them more beyond, a recent emergency has made staying in my current cabin an impossibility. They knew what I was talking about, which was very saddening. Hopefully stuff like this isn't a common occurrence. En route to my new cabin, I caught Sara out of the corner of my eye. The vision of her made me feel ill, so I knew that there was no going back. When I got to my cabin, I realized that we both drove to the port in my car. I couldn't really handle another 20 hours of confined space with her. I ended up booking her a plane ticket for a direct flight and a taxi to drive her to the airport. A lot of people will complain about the money spent on her, but money was never an issue for me. and a final couple $100 to ensure my own mental stability was well worth it for me. After that, I postponed talking to her for a little bit. I wrote down what I wanted to say and then rewrote it several more times. Reading my own words felt, I don't really know, unnatural or surreal to me. I tried to stomach some breakfast. That way, if I had to resort to puking on her, I'd at least have some ammo. After that, I headed back to the cabin. She wasn't there when I got there, so I took the opportunity to make sure I had everything packed up and transferred to my new stateroom. It took about an hour and a half of waiting before Sara finally showed up. I confronted her and immediately, calmly, told her what I had seen yesterday and that the relationship was over regardless. But I made it absolutely clear that I wanted to hear her side of the story, since many users brought up a lot of different situations that could have changed the scenario from full wrongdoing to partial wrongdoing by Sara, like someone spiked her drink with stronger alcohol. What happened next was unbelievable. At first, she denied. It wasn't me. I wasn't there. How could you accuse me? I stood by my story. I knew what I saw, and there was no way she was going to dissuade me. When she saw that I clearly wasn't buying what she was selling, she totally changed. Like a 180. I'm still so confused by what happened. She accused me of cheating back on her. You never came back last night. You were probably screwing some girl. This was very tough to hear, since I spent the prior night drunkenly crying. Just hearing the empty accusations made me want to immediately opt for Reddit puke on her strategy. I firmly told her how I spent my night. I had dug in too deep and wasn't going to step down. What happened next blew my mind. She admitted to cheating. At first, she only said they made out, since it was all I saw, but then she said they had sex. She also stated she was conscious through it all. All I could muster out was a pretty weak, why? Even though I know I didn't want to hear whatever the reason was. She stared me straight in the eyes and said he was attractive. She then quickly stated that I deserved it anyways, but didn't expand any further. I was fighting back a lot of emotions but tried to remain stoic, wasn't super successful. I told her that I prepared travel accommodations for her to get back safely. Then I walked out. After the whole ordeal, which was so emotionally draining, I went to my room and took a nap, where I just laid in bed for an hour and a half and tried to rationalize what the hell had just happened. I just couldn't. I was prepared for a lot, but not that. I ended up texting a close friend who was looking after my house and asked him if he could neatly gather Sara's belongings, and only described what happened in brief detail. I'm a true believer of never badmouthing an ex. This was one of the toughest challenges. After all this, I went to the bar and got myself a drink or two, and then went to the pool. Everything still felt very surreal. I must have looked like shit because several people asked if I was sick. Eventually, I found a group that speak my language, and they too asked if I was okay. I explained to them. Their response was very much stereotypical. Forget that, bitch. Come, let's get drink. I spent the next hour or two hanging out with them, talking and finding out who they were and so on. It was only one day, but I didn't see Sara after our conversation. I'd be lying if I said she didn't hover over my thoughts, and I often caught myself wondering what she was up to. I'm sure this is due to the recent nature of the breakup, and time heals all wounds. Just got to wait for this one to heal. While I was happy with my first day, I realized I didn't do anything to really get over Sara. Instead, I just tried to distract myself all day. It was good and nice, but there isn't any maturity in avoiding a problem, and I hope that either through the rest of the cruise or afterwards, I'll be able to sit down and deeply look back on the relationship. Hopefully, I can learn from some of the mistakes I made and truly get past this whole clusterfuck. I again want to thank everyone who took the time to read my post yesterday. To go so far out of your way to help a complete internet stranger in my time of need was so touching. I don't have the words to properly express my gratitude. I really love you guys.